You've tried cutting carbs, exercising more, even skipping dessert, yet the scale refuses to budge. The truth is, it's not your willpower that's failing you. It's a hidden shift in your body after 50 that most diets completely ignore. For millions of men and women around the world, this is more than just a number on the scale. It's an emotional battle that touches self-confidence, daily energy, and even long-term health. You may wake up determined to stick to your plan, only to feel defeated by the end of the day when the results don't match your effort. And that nagging thought creeps in, what's wrong with me? But here's the first important truth, nothing is wrong with you. What's happening is natural, inevitable, and deeply misunderstood. After the age of 50, your body undergoes fundamental changes that make weight loss not just harder, but different. The old eat less, move more formula that may have worked in your 20s and 30s simply doesn't hold up anymore. The silent shift. Let's take a closer look at what happens as we cross into our 50s. On the surface, you might not notice dramatic changes overnight, but inside, your body is quietly adjusting its priorities. Hormone levels begin to fluctuate. Muscle mass gradually declines. The way your cells respond to insulin and store fat starts to change. Each of these factors on its own might seem small, but together, they create a perfect storm that makes losing weight more challenging than ever before. For women, the onset of menopause often brings hot flashes, mood swings, and sleep disturbances, but one of the most frustrating changes is weight redistribution. Fat that once collected in the hips and thighs begins to migrate to the belly. For men, testosterone levels decline steadily, leading to reduced muscle strength and a slower metabolism. The common denominator for both sexes is that the body burns fewer calories at rest than it used to, which means you can eat the same meals you always have, exercise just as much, and still find yourself gaining weight. Why the old rules fail? Think back to your younger years. Maybe you could clean up your diet for a few weeks, jog a little more, and shed 5 or 10 pounds without much trouble. That was possible because your metabolism was faster, your hormones more balanced, and your muscle tissue more abundant. In other words, your body was primed to respond. Now, those same strategies fall flat. Skipping meals or cutting calories too sharply only signals your body to cling more tightly to fat reserves. Hours on the treadmill don't deliver the same payoff. Even clean eating may not move the scale if your body's internal chemistry isn't working with you. And this is where so many people hit a wall. They double down on discipline, convinced that effort alone will break through the plateau. But in reality, it's like pushing on a locked door without realizing the key has changed. The methods are outdated, not the motivation. The emotional toll. Beyond the physical science, there's the emotional weight. Struggling with stubborn pounds in midlife isn't just frustrating, it can feel isolating. Friends may shrug it off as normal aging. Doctors might tell you to just watch your calories and walk more. Meanwhile, you're doing both and still not seeing results. This mismatch between effort and outcome breeds discouragement. For some, it sparks cycles of fad dieting, over-exercising, or worse, giving up entirely. The hidden reason behind midlife weight struggles isn't just about metabolism, it's also about mindset. When people believe the issue is personal failure, they miss the bigger picture. Biology has changed, and the approach must change with it. The hidden reason revealed. So what is this hidden reason? At its core, it's a combination of 3 interconnected forces: hormonal shifts, muscle loss, and metabolic slowdown. These changes are not obvious day to day, but they accumulate year after year, creating the stubborn wall that so many hit after 50. Hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and cortisol no longer flow in the same balance they once did. These shifts directly influence how your body stores fat, how hungry you feel, and how efficiently you burn energy. Muscle mass, which is metabolically active tissue, declines by about 3 to 8% per decade after age 30, and the loss accelerates after 50. Less muscle means fewer calories burned, even while sitting still. Metabolic slowdown results from both of these factors, reducing your total daily energy expenditure. What was once a maintenance level of calories now leads to weight gain. In short, your body has quietly rewritten the rules of weight loss. The strategies that worked before don't line up with your new biology. A new path forward. Here's the empowering news. Once you understand what's happening, you can work with your body instead of against it. By addressing the hidden reason directly, hormones, muscle, and metabolism, you unlock a new path to weight loss that feels sustainable, not punishing. Instead of endless cardio, strength training becomes crucial. Instead of crash diets, focusing on protein, micronutrients, and blood sugar balance makes all the difference. And instead of blaming yourself for slow progress, you begin to recognize that success after 50 requires a smarter, more targeted approach. This isn't about quick fixes or impossible regimens. It's about relearning your body, adapting your habits, and realizing that midlife doesn't mean surrender. In fact, it can mean freedom from yo-yo diets, from unrealistic expectations, and from the shame that comes with struggling in silence. Because here's the truth. Once you know the hidden reason, you can finally stop fighting the wrong battle. You can start building strategies that truly work for the body you have now. By the time most people reach 50, the word metabolism takes on an almost mythical quality. It's blamed for stubborn belly fat, sluggish energy, and the discouraging gap between effort and results. But metabolism isn't magic, it's science. And to understand why weight loss feels nearly impossible after 50, we need to unpack what's really happening beneath the surface. Metabolism is, at its core, the sum of every chemical reaction happening in your body. It's how you take food, break it down, and transform it into energy that fuels your muscles, brain, and organs. When you're younger, these processes run fast and efficiently. As you age, however, subtle but powerful changes begin to slow them down. The role of muscle in calorie burning. Muscle isn't just for strength or appearance. It's one of the most metabolically active tissues in the body. Think of muscle as a calorie-burning engine that works even when you're at rest. The more muscle you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate, the number of calories your body uses to simply keep you alive each day. Starting around age 30, adults naturally begin to lose muscle mass in a process known as sarcopenia. By age 50, this decline accelerates, often robbing the body of 10 to 15% of its muscle mass over the following decades if nothing is done to prevent it. Less muscle means a smaller engine. A smaller engine means fewer calories burned. And fewer calories burned means more fat storage, even without any change in eating habits. That's why someone might say, I'm eating the same as always, but now I'm gaining weight. It's not imagination, it's physiology. The loss of muscle changes the entire equation of weight management. Hormonal changes, the metabolic gatekeepers. Alongside muscle decline, hormones play a starring role in midlife metabolism. They are the body's chemical messengers, and when their balance shifts, so does everything from appetite to fat distribution. Estrogen and progesterone. For women, menopause brings a sharp drop in estrogen and progesterone levels. Estrogen in particular helps regulate where fat is stored. Lower estrogen means fat is more likely to settle around the midsection instead of the hips and thighs. This isn't just a cosmetic change. Belly fat, also known as visceral fat, is linked to higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and inflammation. Testosterone. Men don't experience menopause, but testosterone declines steadily after age 30, with levels dropping about 1% per year. Testosterone is vital for maintaining muscle mass and strength. Lower testosterone means more fat storage, less muscle, and a slower metabolism. Thyroid hormones. The thyroid gland acts as the body's thermostat, controlling how quickly calories are burned. As people age, thyroid function can become less efficient, leading to subtle hypothyroidism that slows metabolism. Cortisol, known as the stress hormone, cortisol rises more easily in midlife due to chronic stress, poor sleep, and lifestyle demands. High cortisol levels encourage fat storage around the belly and can also increase sugar cravings. When these hormones work together in balance, metabolism hums along. But after 50, the harmony is disrupted, making fat loss more difficult and fat storage more likely. Insulin resistance, the silent saboteur. Another major player in midlife metabolism is insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar. After eating, insulin helps move glucose from your bloodstream into your cells to be used as energy. But with age, cells often become less sensitive to insulin, a condition known as insulin resistance. When insulin resistance develops, your body compensates by producing even more insulin. High insulin levels not only make fat loss harder, but they actively encourage fat storage, especially in the abdominal area. Over time, This sets the stage for prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Many people over 50 are unknowingly walking around with some degree of insulin resistance, which explains why eating less doesn't necessarily lead to fat loss. The problem isn't just calories, it's chemistry, the metabolic slowdown. Combine these elements, muscle loss, hormonal shifts, insulin resistance, and the result is a noticeable metabolic slowdown. Studies suggest that by age 50, the average person burns about 200 to 400 fewer calories per day than they did in their 20s or 30s. Over the course of a year, that translates to 20 to 40 extra pounds of weight gain if nothing else changes. This isn't a matter of willpower. It's basic math and biology. A body that once burned 2,000 calories a day may now burn only 1,600 to 1,700, and yet eating patterns often remain the same. Without realizing it, you're in a daily surplus that adds up quickly. Why belly fat becomes the prime target. Another frustrating change after 50 is where the body chooses to store fat. Younger bodies often distribute fat more evenly, but aging, hormones, and insulin resistance make the midsection the prime target. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Visceral fat that wraps around organs is metabolically active and produces inflammatory chemicals that raise risks for heart disease, Alzheimer's, and cancer. That's why midlife weight struggles aren't just about appearance or self-confidence. They are deeply tied to long-term health outcomes. Ignoring the science of metabolism after 50 doesn't just stall your weight loss goals, it can shorten your lifespan. The science of adaptation. Here's the hopeful twist. While these changes are real, they aren't destiny. The human body is remarkably adaptive. Muscle can be rebuilt with resistance training. Hormonal imbalances can be mitigated through lifestyle strategies, medical care, or nutritional support. Insulin sensitivity can improve with smarter eating patterns and movement. The hidden reason you can't lose weight after 50 is real, but it's not unfixable. Once you understand the science of midlife metabolism, you can begin to work with your body instead of against it. The next step is understanding the lifestyle forces that magnify these biological changes. Because metabolism doesn't operate in isolation, it responds to how you sleep, how you handle stress, and how you fuel your body each day. By now, you know that metabolism slows after 50 due to muscle loss, hormonal shifts, and insulin resistance. But biology doesn't act alone. The way you live, how stressed you are, how well you sleep, and how balanced your hormones remain, can either amplify the challenge or help turn things around. For many, the hidden reason behind stubborn weight gain isn't just age itself, but the lifestyle patterns that come with it. Stress, the weight loss enemy you can't see. Stress may feel like a mental burden, but its impact on the body is profoundly physical. When you're under stress, your adrenal glands release cortisol, the so-called fight-or-flight hormone. In short bursts, cortisol is helpful. It gives you energy, focus, and strength in emergencies. But when cortisol is elevated chronically, as it often is in midlife, it becomes a serious obstacle to weight loss. High cortisol levels do several things. Increase appetite, especially for high-calorie comfort foods. Encourage fat storage around the belly, where it's hardest to lose. Interfere with insulin sensitivity, making blood sugar swings and cravings worse. Break down muscle tissue, which, as we learned, slows metabolism even further. The stressful demands of modern midlife, caring for aging parents, raising teens or supporting adult children, navigating career shifts, or planning for retirement, create a perfect environment for chronic cortisol elevation. And unlike youthful stress that comes and goes, this stress lingers, quietly sabotaging weight loss efforts day after day. Sleep, the unsung hero of metabolism. If stress is the enemy of weight loss, sleep is the overlooked hero. Yet for many people over 50, sleep becomes elusive. Hormonal changes, medical conditions, and lifestyle habits often chip away at the quality and quantity of rest. Poor sleep has immediate and measurable effects on metabolism. Hunger hormones get distorted. Sleep deprivation increases ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry, and decreases leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. The result: you eat more without feeling satisfied. Insulin resistance worsens. Even a single night of poor sleep reduces your body's ability to process glucose effectively, making fat storage more likely. Cortisol rises. Sleep debt is perceived as stress by the body, leading to elevated cortisol levels that encourage belly fat. Energy levels crash. When you're exhausted, workouts feel impossible and daily activity drops, lowering the total calories you burn. It's no exaggeration to say that sleep is just as important as diet and exercise for weight loss. A person who eats well and exercises daily but sleeps only 5 hours a night may still struggle to shed pounds. Rest is the foundation upon which every other weight loss effort is built. Hormones, the control center of weight. We've already touched on hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and thyroid, but let's take a deeper look at how they interact with stress and sleep. Hormones act like the body's operating system. When they are balanced, everything runs smoothly. When they are disrupted, the system crashes. Estrogen and progesterone. For women, declining estrogen during menopause not only shifts fat storage to the belly but also disrupts sleep by causing night sweats and insomnia. Progesterone, which has a calming effect, also drops, worsening sleep and mood. Testosterone. For men, lower testosterone reduces muscle mass and energy. It can also increase fat accumulation and reduce motivation to exercise. Low testosterone is often linked to poor sleep and high stress, creating a vicious cycle. Thyroid hormones. A sluggish thyroid makes you feel tired, cold, and unable to lose weight despite dieting. Subclinical hypothyroidism is common after 50 and often overlooked. Cortisol. Chronic stress raises cortisol, but poor sleep and hormonal changes magnify it. Elevated cortisol then feeds back into worse sleep and more stress, a cycle that must be broken to see results. The interplay between stress, sleep, and hormones is like a web. Tug on one strand, and the whole structure shifts. That's why addressing only calories or exercise misses the bigger picture. The modern midlife trap. Today's lifestyle adds another layer to the challenge. Technology keeps us on around the clock, making it harder to unwind at night. Sedentary jobs mean long hours of sitting, reducing daily calorie burn. High-sugar, highly processed foods flood the diet, spiking insulin and fueling cravings. Add to this the emotional stress of midlife transitions, and it's clear why so many people struggle. In fact, researchers have coined the term obesogenic environment to describe the world we live in, one that promotes weight gain instead of weight loss. For someone over 50, already facing biological hurdles, this environment makes the task doubly hard. The good news: stress, sleep, and hormones are trainable. Here's the empowering part. While age-related metabolic changes are real, the way stress, sleep, and hormones affect your body isn't fixed. You can retrain your system with consistent, targeted habits. Stress management. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, or even simple walks in nature lower cortisol and improve insulin sensitivity. Better sleep hygiene. Creating a consistent bedtime routine, avoiding late-night screens, and keeping the bedroom cool and dark can dramatically improve sleep quality. Hormonal support. Medical consultation for hormone replacement, thyroid evaluation, or lifestyle interventions like strength training and protein intake can restore balance. It's not about perfection. It's about stacking small wins that help your body calm down, sleep deeply, and re-establish hormonal harmony. When these foundations are in place, every calorie you burn and every healthy choice you make finally starts to pay off. Why this matters beyond weight. Focusing on stress, sleep, and hormones isn't just about fitting into smaller clothes. It's about extending your health span, the years you live free from disease and full of vitality. Chronic stress and poor sleep aren't just weight loss killers. They are linked to heart disease, dementia, depression, and faster aging. Restoring balance protects more than your waistline. It protects your future. And that's the deeper truth. The hidden reason you can't lose weight after 50 isn't just a slower metabolism. It's an entire system of interconnected forces. When stress is high, sleep is low, and hormones are unbalanced, your body clings to fat as if it's in survival mode. The key isn't punishment, it's restoration. By now, it's clear that biology after 50 plays by new rules. Muscle loss, hormonal changes, stress, and sleep disruption all conspire to make the scale stubborn. But there's another piece of the puzzle: the way we eat. For decades, dieting has been sold as the solution: count calories, cut carbs, avoid fat, or skip meals. And while these strategies may have delivered short-term results in your 20s or 30s, they often backfire in midlife. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Most diets aren't designed for bodies over 50. They ignore the unique nutritional needs, metabolic shifts, and hormonal realities of this stage of life. That's why so many people find themselves trapped in cycles of restriction, frustration, and rebound weight gain. The calorie trap. The first mistake many make is believing that cutting calories is the golden ticket. And while energy balance still matters, burn more than you consume to lose weight, the reality is more complicated. After 50, overly restrictive calorie cutting often slows metabolism even further. Here's why. Muscle breakdown. When you cut calories too severely, the body not only burns fat but also breaks down muscle for energy. Remember, muscle is your calorie-burning engine. Losing more of it makes long-term weight loss harder. Adaptive thermogenesis. The body interprets extreme calorie restriction as famine. In response, it lowers energy expenditure, meaning you burn fewer calories at rest. This starvation mode is especially strong in older adults. Hunger hormone disruption. Severe restriction elevates ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and reduces leptin, the fullness hormone, making cravings nearly impossible to resist. So while the math of eat less, lose more may work temporarily, it often leads to slower metabolism, greater hunger, and eventual rebound weight gain. For someone already facing age-related metabolic slowdown, this is the worst possible cycle. The carb confusion. Carbohydrates are another frequent target. Low-carb or ketogenic diets promise rapid results, and for some, they can be effective. But the picture after 50 is more nuanced. On the one hand, reducing refined carbs, white bread, sugary snacks, sweetened drinks absolutely helps stabilize blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. On the other hand, cutting out complex carbs altogether can backfire. Whole grains, fruits, and fiber-rich foods provide critical nutrients for heart health, gut health, and energy. The hidden danger of extreme low-carb diets is that they often lead to fiber deficiency. Fiber supports digestion, lowers cholesterol, and helps regulate blood sugar. Low-fiber diets raise risks for constipation and heart disease. Micronutrient gaps. Fruits and whole grains supply vitamins and minerals that protect against age-related diseases. Eliminating them entirely creates deficiencies. Unsustainable habits. Strict carb restriction is hard to maintain socially and psychologically, leading to yo-yo dieting. The smarter approach is not no carbs, but better carbs, focusing on slow-digesting, fiber-rich sources that work with your body instead of against it. The fat myth. For years, fat was demonized as the enemy of weight loss. Then came the low-carb revolution, where fat was suddenly praised. The truth lies somewhere in between. After 50, fat isn't just acceptable, it's essential. Healthy fats support brain function, reduce inflammation, and help regulate hormones. The key is choosing the right types. Healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish like salmon provide omega-3s and monounsaturated fats that reduce heart disease risk. Unhealthy fats, trans fats and highly processed seed oils, like those found in fried and packaged foods, promote inflammation and fat storage. A diet too low in fat disrupts hormone production. Estrogen, testosterone, and other key hormones require fat to be synthesized. Without it, midlife hormonal imbalances worsen, making weight loss even harder. The protein priority. If there's one nutrient that becomes non-negotiable after 50, it's protein. As muscle mass declines, the body needs more high-quality protein to preserve and rebuild it. Yet many adults eat less protein as they age, not more. Protein does three critical things. Protects muscle. Protein provides amino acids needed to prevent muscle breakdown and stimulate new growth. Boosts metabolism. Digesting protein requires more energy than carbs or fats, slightly increasing calorie burn. Controls hunger. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient, keeping you fuller for longer and reducing cravings. Most experts suggest aiming for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal for people over 50, far more than the bare minimum recommendations. That means prioritizing sources like lean meats, eggs, fish, beans, lentils, and dairy. Why one-size-fits-all diets don't work. The diet industry thrives on one-size-fits-all solutions. But the truth is, your body after 50 is unique. Your hormonal profile, activity level, sleep quality, and stress levels all interact with food in ways no standardized diet plan can capture. For example, someone with insulin resistance may do well on a lower-carb, higher-protein plan. Someone struggling with menopause symptoms may benefit from phytoestrogen-rich foods like soy or flax. Someone with thyroid issues may need to avoid excessive soy or cruciferous vegetables. What's universal is that extreme diets, whether very low-calorie, no-carb, or no-fat, fail because they don't address the underlying biology. They punish the body instead of nourishing it. The emotional fallout of dieting. There's also the psychological toll. After years or decades of dieting, many people over 50 carry deep frustration and food guilt. They've been told to avoid, restrict, and punish themselves into thinness. When those methods stop working, they feel broken. This is where the hidden reason becomes not just biological but emotional. The weight itself becomes secondary to the constant cycle of trying and failing. Breaking free requires a new mindset. Food isn't the enemy, it's the medicine and fuel your body needs to thrive. Toward a smarter nutrition strategy. Instead of rigid dieting, the goal after 50 is nutritional strategy. That means eating enough protein to protect muscle, choosing high-fiber carbs to stabilize blood sugar, prioritizing healthy fat. We've explored the frustrations, the metabolic science, the impact of stress and sleep, and why traditional diets fail after 50. Now it's time to shift from problems to solutions. The good news: once you understand the hidden reason behind stubborn weight gain, you can design a smarter, science-backed strategy that works with your body instead of against it. This isn't about quick fixes or punishing regimens. It's about a sustainable plan tailored to the realities of midlife biology. Let's break it down into the core principles that unlock weight loss after 50. 1. Rebuild your muscle, reignite your metabolism. The foundation of midlife weight management is preserving and rebuilding muscle. Without it, metabolism slows. With it, metabolism thrives. Strength training is non-negotiable. At least 2 to 3 sessions per week of resistance training, using weights, resistance bands, or even bodyweight exercises, is essential. Squats, lunges, push-ups, and deadlifts aren't just for athletes. They are for anyone who wants to age strong. Prioritize protein. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Spread it throughout the day instead of loading it all at dinner. This keeps muscles fed and prevents breakdown. Don't fear recovery. Muscles grow during rest, not during the workout itself. Prioritize sleep, hydration, and mobility work. Think of your muscles as the engine of your metabolism. Keep the engine strong, and the rest of the machine runs efficiently. 2. Balance blood sugar, tame insulin. One of the most overlooked weight loss strategies after 50 is stabilizing blood sugar. Balanced blood sugar keeps insulin in check, reduces cravings, and prevents fat storage. Choose smart carbs. Focus on slow-digesting carbs like oats, quinoa, lentils, sweet potatoes, and berries. Pair them with protein and fat to slow absorption. Cut refined sugars. Minimize soda, candy, pastries, and ultra-processed snacks. These spike insulin and fuel belly fat. Time your meals. Consider a gentle version of intermittent fasting, like a 12-hour eating window, e.g., 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This gives your body time to burn fat without the stress of extreme fasting. The goal isn't zero carbs, it's controlled carbs. By managing blood sugar, you send your body the message to use fat for energy instead of storing it. 3. Heal stress, honor sleep. No matter how perfect your diet or exercise plan, if stress and sleep are out of balance, weight loss will stall. Your body must feel safe before it lets go of fat. Create a wind-down routine. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep by keeping a consistent bedtime, avoiding screens at night, and making your bedroom cool and dark. Practice stress resilience. Daily habits like meditation, deep breathing, gratitude journaling, or simply walking outdoors lower cortisol levels. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to obligations that drain you. Protecting your time and energy is as important as protecting your diet. Think of stress and sleep as the reset button for your hormones. Press it daily. 4. Rethink dieting, nourishment over restriction. Traditional dieting punishes. A smarter approach nourishes. Your body after 50 craves nutrients, not deprivation. Eat more whole foods, vegetables, lean proteins, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats should form the bulk of your meals. Don't skip meals. Skipping meals spikes cortisol and leads to overeating later. Balanced meals keep hormones steady. Hydrate wisely. Dehydration can be mistaken for hunger. Aim for water, herbal teas, and limit sugary or alcoholic drinks. Instead of asking, "What should I cut?" ask, "What should I add to support my body?" The shift from restriction to nourishment changes everything. 5. Work with your hormones, not against them. Hormones are the body's operating system. When supported, they help you lose fat and gain energy. When neglected, they stall your progress. For women, consider speaking with a doctor about hormone replacement therapy, HRT, if symptoms of menopause are severe. Lifestyle changes, like strength training, protein intake, and stress reduction, also ease hormonal shifts. For men, low testosterone isn't inevitable. Strength training, better sleep, and managing stress can naturally boost levels. In some cases, medical support may help. Check thyroid health. Don't ignore symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, or cold intolerance. A sluggish thyroid can mimic dieting failure. The point isn't to chase hormones artificially, but to create conditions where they function optimally. When hormones are in balance, weight loss follows naturally. 6. Redefine success. Finally, the smartest approach after 50 is to redefine what success looks like. The scale is only one measure. Muscle gained, inches lost, energy restored, and better health markers are equally important victories. Ask yourself, are my clothes fitting better? Do I feel stronger and more energetic? Am I sleeping more soundly? Have I reduced my reliance on sugar, caffeine, or medications? These wins matter more than any single number on a scale. By focusing on progress instead of perfection, you create momentum that lasts. The big picture. The hidden reason you can't lose weight after 50 isn't laziness or lack of willpower. It's biology, hormones shifting, muscles declining, metabolism slowing, stress rising. But biology isn't destiny. With the right strategy, you can rewrite the script. Rebuild your muscle. Balance your blood sugar. Heal stress and sleep. Nourish instead of restrict. Support your hormones. And most importantly, redefine success in a way that celebrates progress, not punishes effort. When you align your lifestyle with your body's new reality, you unlock the ability to lose weight, restore energy, and protect your long-term health. Age doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean strength, wisdom, and vitality. And perhaps the greatest shift of all, realizing that the battle was never with your body. It was with the outdated strategies that didn't serve it. Now you have a smarter approach, the key that fits the lock. The rest of your story is yours to write.